Elizabeth Alexander was in her hotel room in Washington, D.C. on a cold winter morning when she was awakened by a strange noise outside her window. She looked outside and saw a sea of people huddled together against cold, marching toward the National Mall in pre-dawn darkness. It was January 20, 2009, and crowds turned out to witness the inauguration of Barack Hussein Obama, the nation's first black president. The sound he heard was their footsteps, marching almost in unison as their numbers increased, which to Alexander sounded like ging thunder or a crashing wave. Alexander had a coveted hotel room near the mall that day because he was a special guest of Obama. She asked the writer and poet Alexander, who was then a professor at Yale University, to compose and recite a poem for the opening. Upon reaching the opening platform, Alexander found himself sharing the stage with such notables as boxing legend Muhammad Ali, singer Aretha Franklin, author and Holocaust survivor Elie Wiesel, civil rights icon John Lewis, and former Secretary of State Colin Powell. When he took podium to speak, the temperature was around 30 degrees and sky was clear and breezy. He began reciting his poem, Praise Song for Day, an exhortation to singing the names of dead who brought us here, who chose cotton and lettuce. And he looked at the crowd of at least 1 million people gathered before him. Alexander saw something as inspiring any poetic development he could conjure up on this occasion. When I looked at the infinity of people, it was a crowd with the naked eye without end, she says today. Ages and colors have passed. Switch to all visual types. Elizabeth Alexander reads a poem during President Obama's swearing-in ceremony at the U.S. Capitol on January 20, 2009. By Ron EdmondsAP. After finishing his reading, Alexander returned to his seat to watch Obama be sworn in. And then, after completing his vows, he heard something else: the voices of some of the most powerful people in America sobbing back. Are we the January 20th country? Today is the 15th anniversary of Obama's inauguration. 15 years isn't that long, the sweep of history. But this event feels like it happened in another time. Another America. For a brief moment in that January sun, it looked like the United States had finally fulfilled Rev. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream of reaching the promised land. It was a day that Alexander describes as one of euphoria and open-mouthed joy. Now we know what follows. Hope and change gave way to Make America Great Again. Racial and political divisions deepened. And on January 6, 2021, an overwhelmingly white mob displaying symbols of white supremacist groups, such as the Confederate flag, stormed the U.S. Capitol, attempting to overturn President Donald Trump's 2020 election loss. As Americans look back on Obama's inauguration, it's time to ask, was hope that so many on left and right felt at time merely a mirage? A glimpse of thriving multicultural Americ?